What's going on, guys? I am back. Bitcoin's been pumping. We have a bunch of craziness that's been going on recently. Sorry in advance if you see a fly floating around. That thing's been driving me crazy. Crypto, Bitcoin miners are pumping. We had recent news that Germany is done selling Bitcoin. We've been seeing consistent spot Bitcoin ETF inflows. And we had a recent failed assassination attempt of Trump. Let's talk about all this and more. If you guys get something useful out of this, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. And first off, let's look at what Bitcoin's been doing. Bitcoin recently broke out of its descending resistance line. You'll see the reaction from the market, and now we are coming up towards the 50 MA. We basically touched it and we're coming back down a little bit, cooling off now. I do think there will be another attempt on the 50 MA, and hopefully this time we break above it. One thing we were seeing last week was a beautiful RSI divergence. We were seeing the RSI hitting basically the same level while the price was dropping down. This is a bullish RSI divergence. Maybe it's partially this. Maybe it's partially Trump getting increased odds of winning the election. And let's face it, right now, Trump is seen more as pro-Bitcoin, despite being somewhat anti-Bitcoin in the past. Biden is seen as the guy that's trying to push these regulations. But politics aside, I do think Bitcoin will pump on increased odds of Trump's election. And as a side note, I did hear that he's still going to the Bitcoin conference coming up about a week from now. We might see a pump up to that point. And I want to show you guys, I might have shown you this before, but on the fibs, when you look at this entire run, basically starting at the end of January, where we didn't stop running, we basically took off. There was one brief consolidation, but going on this whole run, we did come down and test the 0.5, and we did test the 0.618. This might have been all we needed to start retracing, to start our reversal. We have this article today going over Larry Fink. Bitcoin is a legitimate financial instrument. I'll leave this down below for you, but Blackrock's Larry Fink reiterated his belief that Bitcoin is an asset that everybody should consider holding as part of their portfolio. My opinion 5 years ago was wrong. I believe Bitcoin is a legitimate financial instrument. And this Monday morning interview came after Blackrock's second quarter results. Their assets under management has reached over $10 trillion. And what's Eric Balchunas have to say about this? Hard to overstate how big a deal it is for Larry Fink, who runs $10.6 trillion, to keep giving these full-throated endorsements of Bitcoin. Sorry about that. As a legit asset class for everyday portfolios. One contributor to BlackRock's current AUM is its recent IBIT, which is the Bitcoin spot ETF they have. And this has accumulated more than $18 billion since launch, including $4 billion in the second quarter alone. It is an instrument that you invest in when you're frightened. It's an instrument when you believe that countries are debasing their currency by excess deficits. Is it a recession hedge? We'll potentially see. Remember, Bitcoin was created coming out of a recession. It was created because we can't trust the banks. It was created because we know how governments treat money. They're basically running a massive Kinkos. We also had news the other day that Germany selling is complete, and the $3 billion worth of holdings has been depleted. We do still have worries about the Mt. Gox and the max of $9 billion. This is being dispersed, and it'll take a few more months likely. While all this selling was going on, there was some buying. Spot Bitcoin ETFs did report positive inflows. And these spot Bitcoin ETFs have brought in over $1 billion in net inflows in a week, despite all this bearishness going around. Wall Street sees all this fear as a buying opportunity. Wall Street knows that over time, Bitcoin will appreciate in price. They're playing the long game. And on Friday alone, last Friday, they saw $310 million in inflows, which was the largest daily inflow over the past 5 weeks. It's building up again. And as many of you know, there was an attempt on Donald Trump's life. I think either president being assassinated would be horrible for us. As if there's not enough division already, I think that would be catastrophic to see either one perish. Because of Trump's positioning as a crypto-friendly candidate, the fact that this was a failed attempt did cause Bitcoin to go up, along with other factors, obviously. And as said by Zach Pandel, head of research at Grayscale, Bitcoin's price increased by about 9% over the weekend, which could signal that investors expect a Trump presidency would create a more favorable regulatory climate for crypto. Standard Chartered last month said that the US presidential election is the next key catalyst for the price of Bitcoin, and a Trump victory could push it as high as 150,000 by the year end. Regardless of what side we're all on, we shouldn't wish this on either side. The death of either president on either side would not help anybody. Now moving on, I did want to show you guys btbt. Miners in general are ripping. They're having a good time today. And it's well deserved after what we've been seeing recently. One thing that's a bit concerning with btbt right now is it does look like we're starting a bit of a bearish divergence. The RSI is setting the same levels here. However, the price is increasing. It does depend on where we end. Maybe this breaks higher, which would be a good sign. But for now, we are getting a bit of a RSI divergence, a bearish one. There are some big positives, however. We did see a golden cross in early July. btbt did break out of its recent downtrend, and it has been continuing this uptrend. One thing I would anticipate is a pullback potentially towards this line, this trend line we've been following, possibly towards the low threes, maybe 350, which in my eyes would be a great chance to scoop up some btbt. And for a little bit of reference, on our previous pumps, we did not end here. We did not stop. We went to way overbought. I would expect as long as Bitcoin provides the momentum, btbt can continue higher. I'm still feeling pretty safe with the 450 covered calls expiring late July, but I might consider rolling them out into $5 strikes. Not sure yet. What do I expect from btbt along with many of the other miners? I do expect most miners to follow the uptrend they've been in ever since the beginning of 2023. We do have earnings coming up for btbt in mid-August. It'll be important to watch some of the other miners. Others are reporting sooner. I know CleanSpark is reporting early August. There are probably others reporting early August as well, so it'd be a good idea to watch those ones for an idea of how btbt will report their earnings. If we see good forward guidance from others, we'll probably see forward guidance that's good from btbt. If we see others beating revenue expectations, beating EPS expectations, we'll probably see the same from btbt. They'll give you a bit of an insight on what to expect. But I'll dig through the miners and try to find which one is going to be the first to report earnings, and I'll get back to you guys on that. btbt did report 2 profitable quarters. The last 2 quarters they reported. This upcoming one is expected to be unprofitable, just like many others. And this is mainly due to the fact that the halving is encompassed in this quarter. It's April, May, and June. The halving started in late April. So most of this quarter will be affected by the halving. For many of these miners, forward guidance is going to be key. Hopefully Bitcoin can keep pumping into August. If we see Bitcoin much higher in price, that means forward guidance will be pretty good. How are you guys feeling about everything going on recently? It's nice to see Bitcoin in an uptrend again. Seeing that Germany is done selling, the next worry is Genesis. I believe they have $2 or $3 billion to sell. But we also have FTX coming with cash for their customers. We're going to have $15 billion or so in cash, some of which might get reinvested into crypto. It'll be key to keep seeing positive net inflows. Continuing to see inflows from the spot Bitcoin ETFs will definitely help with sentiment, and soon retail will be bullish again, but trust me, right now they are not. Go on any socials and actually the majority of people are pretty bearish. But anyways, I'll wrap this up here. Thanks as always for watching, guys. Let me know your opinions on btbt, on the other miners out there today. What cryptos are you guys keeping track of? And where do you think Bitcoin will be by the end of August? My expectation was around a $80,000 Bitcoin, and I think it can still be reached. Could be right, could be wrong. That's just what I'm calling for, and I'll stick to it for now. I do think there's a good potential we'll see new all-time highs, and it's really not far off. Thanks again, as always, for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.